Welcome to Beyond the Money with Jackie Campbell. Jackie is a certified financial planner, CPA, personal financial specialist, and founding partner of Campbell Company Wealth Advisors and CPAs.
We're focusing on where you're at, what changes you need to make, what you need to stop doing, what you need to start doing, and what you should continue doing.
Campbell Company is proud to call the Nature Coast home, serving Orlando, the Villages, Tampa, and beyond. Now, because there's more to life than just finances, let's go Beyond the Money.
And we invite you to reach out at any time to the team at Campbell Company Wealth Advisors and CPAs. The website is mycampbellandco.com, or you can call the team. We have a representative standing by right now and throughout the weekend. Cup of coffee in hand, ready to go. 352-251-1015. My name is Marco, and speaking of hot cup of coffee, Jackie Campbell. A little bit of an Arctic chill all the way up and down the East Coast through the Gulf and the Nature Coast. You thawed out? How you feeling?
Well, you kind of get used to it after a couple of days, but then, the weather changes so rapidly in Florida. And we get free air conditioning every now and then, so we just have to learn to kind of adjust the best we can and just be grateful.
Right. And, in full transparency, I'm here just north of Atlanta, and we had a pretty big Arctic blast over the past couple of weeks. And me, selfishly, I don't mind because it's hot 7 months out of the year. 3 of those months is just gross. So, yeah, if we get some bone-chilling temperatures, I know, like you just mentioned, it's going to change in a couple of weeks. But one thing I did notice is that a lot of people were hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. You couldn't find a generator within 100 miles of the city. People were stocked up on water, non-perishable foods. At the Owen household, we had plenty of wine, just in case we lost power. Again, the essentials. But it goes to what you do every single day. The power of preparing, the power of having a plan.
Weather is definitely one of those things, like the stock market, right? Like life. There's so many things beyond our control that we kind of have to plan for those things that we can control so that, when those other things come along, we're all set and prepared. And weather is no different. Floridians are definitely very experienced with hurricanes and preparing for, bad weather. And, it's just a matter of, always thinking ahead and being prepared. And, sometimes you get a little bit of a warning sign. And, in real life, you don't always get that time to be prepared or to make any adjustments like we do for hurricanes or, freeze warnings coming in. So make sure that you're, taking the time now to get prepared, making sure you have a diversified portfolio, making sure you're planning ahead for 2026 to make sure that you have what is going to be most important to you. And typically that's going to be income, paying the least amount of taxes, and making sure that you don't have too much risk in the investments. So you said, now I can't think of a better time when you start talking all-time highs and continue talking all-time highs. We know it can't go up and to the right forever. So, making sure that you're prepared so that you don't get caught with the tide when the tide goes out, so to speak.
Or when the tide freezes, whatever happens in your neck of the woods. 352-251-1015. It's like the 3 key pillars that we talk about every week here on Beyond the Money Radio and the Beyond the Money podcast. Always thinking about risk in your portfolio, income to and through retirement, always thinking about your tax strategy. mycampbellandco.com to meet the team, and you can schedule that consultation from the homepage. Speaking of being prepared, Jackie, the great wealth transfer is underway. Now, with boomers passing on trillions in inheritances to the next generations, I want you to hear this clip from economist Paul Donovan. He says that when it comes to the great wealth transfer, we're missing something.
Over the next 20 years or so, $84 trillion changes hands. And you immediately assume the kids get it. This is not what is necessarily going to happen. A reasonable chunk of this money, it will go sideways. Stereotypically, in the boomer generation, wealth was disproportionately generated by men, and genetically, their wives will outlive them. So the money goes sideways. So at the moment, women own and control about 30% of global wealth. I think within the next 20 years, women will start to control a majority of global wealth.
So that's fascinating. The money, I'm thinking, when I think of great wealth transfer, I think of going to the kids and the grandkids. Great point. It's going to be going to, the reality is, women are going to outlive men. A lot of this wealth is going to be going to females. So what steps, Jackie, should women be taking right now to get ready for inheriting and managing substantial wealth in retirement?
prior planning, right? Knowing where you're at. And I see it unfolding right before me after doing this for 30 plus years. You start to see certain patterns, and it's definitely that, women are living longer. They are being in control of more of that generational wealth transfer. But, interestingly enough, the sideways thought process isn't that it's just going to your spouse. It's that maybe it's going to a second spouse, so it might not end up getting to the children. It could be going to taxes and not getting down to the beneficiaries, the ones you love and really think that's going to get your money. And it could be going to long-term care. So what you plan for or prepare for, maybe in a legacy scenario, it just all comes down to planning, making sure that you're looking at some of those 5 forces. And, it's the 5 are time, taxes, risk, income, and legacy. And if you're looking at those 5 forces, some you can control and some you can't, but time is one of those things. Doing things when you are capable of doing them and you can plan and not have an emotional, part of your decision making, that is the time to do the planning. Not when there's health issues, not when there's a crisis, not after someone passes away. Because typically when someone's inheriting anything, it's at a very emotional time in someone's life. So that is number 1. Take the time and plan now. Taxes, not everyone thinks ahead. They think, oh, I've got beneficiaries. Oh, I've got my legal documents. They don't think that, hey, that was 10 years ago, 12 years ago when my kids were 4 and 5 years old, or, when 30 years ago when they were 4 and 5 years old, whatever that may be for you, and 2 states ago, right? It's the state that you're a resident in, and you want to make sure you have the legal documents and everything set up so that if you're trying to avoid probate, not go through probate, and you want your things to go where you want them to go, planning, that is where it all begins, Mark. All 5 of those forces, whether it's going to be your taxes, it's going to be your time, making the right decisions at the right time before it's too late, and also making sure that you're not taking on too much risk, because the market could drop right when someone needs that the most. And income for your future, income for their future. Not everyone is responsible and can handle an inheritance. So those are all things to think about. And it all kind of circles back around to legacy. Legacy, making sure that you can be the hero of your own financial story, getting your messes cleaned up, and just being really intentional about those things. So sideways, again, isn't necessarily going to the wife or the husband, which is kind of like it's going to go sideways, not down the family tree. But just, remember there's other things and other issues that can really make any plan go awry from what you originally intended to happen.
352-251-1015. Time, taxes, risk, income, legacy. Part of the conversation that you'll have with Jackie Campbell and the team at Campbell Company. And if you've saved at least $500,000 or more for your financial future, that initial consultation, that 360-degree retirement roadmap, it's no cost, no obligation to you. Again, that number, 352-251-1015.
But with so much hard-won wisdom that we have seen in the past 3 decades with our team here at Campbell Company, so many different families, but you start seeing the patterns over time, and the patterns absolutely show what works well and the consequences and the benefits, right, for the family members and loved ones, and then what didn't work so well. And we have all of that experience, which gives us an advantage to kind of help you navigate through things. So, Mark, we don't take the time to truly sit down and plan and make those decisions because we don't have clarity. And that's sort of what we do as stewards, with our team here at Campbell Company, is our fiduciary duty of care is to really help you navigate, but to make sure during any of these transitional periods that you have clarity. And your ultimate goal is you've got to have confidence that you're making the right decisions, right? And that you're doing things the right way. But the confidence isn't the first thing to come. And we can't help give you confidence. We can't transfer that for you, but we can absolutely help you with that clarity about what is transitioning and what directions things could go. And the possibilities, but we can also help give you some direction and guidance and sort of that roadmap, that 360-degree roadmap, which can then, once you can see clearly what the transition could mean or does mean to you, what opportunities you have, what directions you can go, then you're going to get the confidence to actually take some of those decisions and actually, what should you stop doing, start doing, and continue doing. And that's really where it all kind of meets, and that happy, best results, if you will, at the end of the day can actually come together for you. Prior planning pays, and it all starts with getting some clarity on where you're at right now. It doesn't matter. We're in no judge zone. Trust me, we have seen it all here at Campbell Company. So if you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, and some of this is kind of, touching a sensitive area for you, and you just don't really know, or you think maybe you have all your affairs in order and you think you've done the right things and you think you've gone through the checklist the right way, but you're really not confident about that, give us a call. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you, see where you're at right now, see what opportunities you and what areas we might be able to help you. 352-251-1015, or you can go online at mycampbellandco.com, and right in the middle of the page, just put in your name and information, and we'll follow up with you.
Helping you find that clarity to and through retirement with the help of Jackie Campbell and the team at Campbell Company. Again, that number is 352-251-1015. And Jackie talked about time right now. Well, right now, the time it's going to take you to make that phone call to set up that appointment, just a couple of minutes. Just need a phone number, an email address. How can Jackie and the team help you? But most importantly, they're going to ask you, when is it convenient for you to meet Jackie and the team at one of the multiple convenient locations of Campbell Company? Again, 352-251-1015. Jackie, I want to go back to something as we talked about the sideways wealth and a lot of females that will be inheriting the money part of the great wealth transfer. Do you find that it's hard to have those conversations, that men and women and couples, they don't talk about money the way they should?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's kind of great. It's like, just talk with someone and they've been happily married, for 52 years. And I always ask, what's your secret? Because it's almost 2 life sentences, not just the one.
Right. Yep.
Because we're always joking about that. But 52 years, like, the communication, the ups and downs, all the different financial markets, all the different challenges of, raising a family, going through careers, military, different things like that. And, still coming out the other end and being so grateful to be able to have all of that time to spend with somebody that you really love and care about and cherish. And, it takes time. Not everybody's going to be on the same page. We all bring our own thought and our own story about money in our own minds as soon as we're beyond the childhood age, because we're influenced. We're influenced by everyone around us. If you grew up with a single parent, where money was tight, clipping coupons, you're going to definitely have a different mindset about money than someone who had the opportunity, to do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, because money wasn't a challenge for the family. Right. So it's all about you. And, I think we have some really, really good savers in the Gen X and the baby boomer generation. We were taught by the thriftiest, I think, that ever was there, our parents and grandparents. So really, really good savers, but, giving yourself the permission, the emotional permission to spend, that's just as difficult in retirement planning, Mark, as saving enough for retirement. So many different things there. It's beyond the money. It's not just the money, but time is definitely a big part of that. But there's so many other factors that come into play there. And getting on what we call the same page can be extremely important. And it's not easy, right? Money is difficult. Parenting your children and money are probably the 2 most difficult things for couples to deal with, I think.
352-251-1015, helping you get on the same page with Jackie Campbell and the team at Campbell Company. You can meet the team. You can schedule that consultation, and we invite you to stream the Beyond the Money podcast. You can find that plus much more at the homepage of mycampbellandco.com. And Jackie, speaking of couples, so the Winter Olympics about to kick off, and I'll tell you this, my wife Gretchen, it's her favorite time, be it the Summer Olympics or the Winter Olympics. It is on in the Owens household 24/7. She absolutely loves it. Are you getting all invested? pride in the USA for the Olympics?
Absolutely. I mean, I love it. I remember when we went to Paris a few years ago to France, and they had the Olympics over there after we were there, but they had the signage, and it was just like, wow, this is like they're going to be here, you know, and it was, I've always just admired, you know, especially the gymnasts. That's probably one of my favorites in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about American downhill skier Lindsey Vonn. She's going to be going for her second career gold medal. Now, the good news is she's favored to represent the USA, but you know, and with speeds going of over 80 miles per hour in this sport, one wrong move could end it all. And Jackie, I see that and I think about what you do. It's the exact same thing for adults nearing retirement. Nobody can afford a crash at the wrong moment. So let's talk about slowing things down a little bit and adding a little control to a portfolio. What's the best steps to make that happen?
Well, you know, I think the clarity, confidence, and direction again, right? If you're looking at things that are, you know, stocks and gold, you know, all-time highs again and again and again. And it's going to be a matter of time before they're not at all-time highs. And what we see, Mark, is that there's what we call a concentration risk. You know, somebody, you know, either by accident or intentionally, you know, hey, my brothers, my cousins, you know, I bought a computer, AI, this is going to be, you know, the next best thing. The market has been AI driven with technology, and there is heavy concentration. I see it just about once a week from someone that comes in and they have you know, NVIDIA, or they have Apple, or they have Microsoft, or they have, you know, different companies for different reasons. And, you know, I'm not promoting any one of them, but they have this significant 20, 30, 40% of their total assets in one stock. And if you worked for a company and you had an ESOP plan, or you were able to buy stock, you know, at a discount, and you just believed in the company that you were working for, I mean, now is the time to really pay attention and make sure that you're looking at all the risks that you have, not just market risk, not just the market going down and having correction, but a major impact because you have concentration risk. And once you actually get to, you know, you talk about the skier, I mean, first of all, I'm afraid of heights, so that would never work for me. I love snow, love seeing snow, but, you know, don't want to, you know, take that.
Don't want to go 80 miles an hour down a ramp and fly through the air on it?
No.
Doesn't sound fun?
I'm afraid of falling and tumbling again and again and wiping other people out too along the way. But definitely, you know, going fast. I mean, you have to make sure that your path is clear, and you have to have confidence in your skills and what you're doing. But what happens is when you're going down the mountain, we use that analogy a lot for, you know, when you're in those working years, you're in those accumulation years, you're going up the mountain. It's much easier to go up the mountain because you can go at different paces. You've got a long runway before you're going to get to retirement, right? Those working years. Many of us started at 13, 14, 15 years of age, started saving and accumulating and saving for that rainy day, for the future, for our house, for our families, and for retirement even. So you had the ability for all that compounding in good markets and in bad markets. And, you know, going up the mountain, even for mountain climbers, is a much less dangerous. Most accidents happen after you get to the top, the peak of that mountain, and then that's what we call retirement, when you're de-accumulating and going into that spending phase of retirement, coming down the mountain. That's when everything happens, right? In our later years, our bones and our joints don't hurt when we're 20 and 30 years old most of the time, but right now we're all barometers for this weather change that's going on here. And it's so interesting because you can see people stand up, you know, and they're really stiff, but, you know, you recognize those, because trust me, I'm right there with everyone. But, you know, as you go down the mountain, that's when the falls happen. That's when long-term care, health issues can come up. That's when there's extra tax implications, because in that accumulation phase, you're putting all that money in your 401k, your IRAs, you're putting in that pre-tax bucket that, guess what? Now you're in the spending phase and you're in that tax now phase. You're taking out required distributions because the IRS comes in and says you must take distributions during that phase. So coming down the mountain, I mean, you really need to have some good guides and some good, you know, I would say, guardrails in place to kind of help protect you from those things. Taxes, long-term care, any of those other things that could come down. And there's a new risk that comes with spending and taking money out or taking that income out of your portfolios, those retirement accounts that you've been accumulating during those working years. And that is a brand new risk that comes into play along with everything else: interest rate risk, inflation risk, your health risk, any tax risk, any of those things. And it is called sequence of returns risk. So if the market happens to go down and tumble when you're taking money out, that is like siphoning money or water out of a swimming pool, and it has a leak and it's going down at the exact same time, and you will never regain those assets because you're now having to take those distributions. So if you are near or started retirement, enjoying retirement, I would say heck, 50 years or older, because it's going to go super fast. Talk to anyone you know, that decade is going to go by faster than the 5 before it. And make sure that you are doing your planning that 360 degree all the way around, looking at your income, look at your investments, looking at taxes, having a smart tax plan, looking at your health and long-term care plan, looking at your legacy plan, and making sure that you're planning ahead. That is the absolute best way to get down that mountain safely and take out all those risks. 80 miles an hour, I don't know, that's a little fast for me, but definitely I think now is the time to slow down. Don't speed up, slow down, pause, make sure. Get all your GPS, get all your facts together, because I promise you, the older you get, the more difficult it's going to be to remember those passwords, to remember where all your dollars are, and to navigate through all the difficult tax changes that are going to be continuously happening for the rest of your life. And then when you get to legacy planning and estate planning, our goal here at Campbell Company, our vision for the next 8 years is to help create over 10,000 families, 10,000 heroes of their own financial story. And we would love for you to be one of them. So give us a call, 352-251-1015, or you can go online at mycampbellandco.com.
You mentioned the accumulation phase and then the distribution phase. And as we're talking sports here with the Olympics, you mentioned having the guardrails, through your retirement. I just had the visualization of going bowling and then putting the bumpers up so that you're guaranteed to at least hit some of the pins. Is that fair to make that comparison about you helping us with the guardrails? I have to say, it's like the bumpers. It's like having bumpers in retirement.
Oh, it absolutely is, right? When you're accumulating and saving, that's when you're going to want to have concentrated risk, right? You're going to find some good companies. What is the best? What's going to be the highest performers? Because you want your money to start growing and compounding and working for you. Because when you get to retirement and you don't work, that's when you want your money to continue working for you. You don't want it to be draining, right? And you're taking money out of it at the same time. So absolutely, that's what that is. There's several ways you can get guardrails in place. And it's not saying to take all the risk off the table, because I think you do need growth. I think you've got to keep up with inflation. I think that's an important part of any plan. But knowing what your risk score is on a 1 to 99, and you can take that risk score complimentary on our website, mycampbellandco.com, and get an idea where you're at. And if you're married, guess what? You should be having your wife do that too, because I can just about bet you're going to be at two different extremes. One's going to want to go fast and one's going to go real slow. And we can help assess your entire portfolio, see where that's at, see if it's in alignment with your risk tolerances. And that is a way to put some guardrails in place, but making sure that you don't have concentration, too much of one stock or one sector of the stock market. Gold. I spoke with someone the other day, and they had inherited gold many years ago from their parents, and gold is now over $5,000 an ounce. It was like $1,200 an ounce when they inherited it. So there's this built-in gain, a tax, if they sell some of that. So being strategic and understanding what you have, how much you have of it, and what percentage is it of your total assets. Having money in an account, having dollars somewhere is not a retirement plan. That's just assets. That's the money. That's the money part of it. But you want to make sure that you have that complete 360-degree retirement roadmap all the way around that 360-degree circle, and that's what we do differently here at Campbell Company. We don't just talk about your investments and where to put your money and to have guardrails guardrails or not have guardrails. Insurance is another good way to put in a guardrail. It may be a good fit for you or not, but we talk about your income. Having multiple streams of income, that gives you the added peace of mind. Some of the happiest people you see these days, they're not worried about the stock market because they have income. They have that monthly paycheck coming in. And then having your estate plan, your legacy plan, the things that you can control in place. I mean, to me, that is just an added peace of mind that I see that truly can be a guardrail system all by itself. And it all starts with just a phone call. Give us a call. We can do second opinions. We can see where you're at. We can see. And if you're doing the right things and you've got everything all lined up and we can't make any recommendations for improvement, guess what? We're going to tell you that. But why not take the opportunity before our calendars fill up? Because I can tell you that March and April get pretty tight for our team at Campbell Company. And give us a call, 352-251-1015, or you can go online at mycampbellandco.com.
Because of the weather, maybe it's a little chilly outside, or maybe somebody doesn't want to deal with the traffic, or maybe they're just comfortable in their own house. Jackie, do you offer the Zoom consultations?
We do. I mean, we learned a few years ago that we could do a lot of things remotely, right? We didn't necessarily need to meet in person across the conference table. But either way, we're comfortable with. We have 3 locations. We're in Inverness, so we're in Citrus County. We're in Hernando County in Spring Hill. That's our flagship office. Been there for over 30 years. And we're in Trinity. Trinity, Odessa area there on 54. And we've been there for 11 or 12 years now. So, we love our community. And, wherever you're at, we can meet with you. Or we could do Zooms. We work with people all over the United States. So any one of those will actually work for us.
Yep, they live here, they work here, they play here. They understand the community of Florida and the Nature Coast, and they're excited to talk to you. That number is 352-251-1015. Multiple locations. You can find them all at the homepage of mycampbellandco.com. And as Jackie just mentioned, you can take the risk score as well. All of this at the homepage of mycampbellandco.com. Or if it's on your mind and you're ready to get started, 352-251-1015.
Now, the Beyond the Money tip of the day.
Saving taxes. I saw an article and heard about it as well. If you pay them $5,000, they'll give you a tax tip so that you won't have to pay any taxes on your Roth conversions. If it sounds too good to be true, it often is. So if you're looking at doing some Roth conversions, considering that, making sure that you're getting your portfolio and your estate a little bit more tax efficient for your future or for your beneficiaries' future, give us a call. We'd love the opportunity to talk to you about that. And, again, we're going to at least not charge you the $5,000 to have that initial conversation, right? Tax planning, may end up having a fee associated with it, but we'll let you know that. We're transparent with anything that we do here at Campbell Company. But again, when you see those ads and those click advertisements, it sounds really good, but again, if it sounds too good to be true, it likely is. So come to someone, give a call to someone who has been in the community for over 30 years and serving the community, somebody who is trusted and reliable, and you know where their building is.
Right. I'm telling you, if you see an ad and it says, we have a secret method to save you, boy, those red flags better go off. Those alarms better go off. And if you do see something like this, and we've talked about it before here on Beyond the Money Radio and the Beyond the Money podcast, there are a lot of scams out there. If you see something that's too good to be true, we invite you to reach out to the team at Campbell Company. Even if you don't work one-on-one with Jackie, but you just need a source to say, hey, is this legit? Something doesn't feel, my spidey senses are going off. Something doesn't feel right. And the team at Campbell Company can help you out.
Yeah, I mean, I personally got a form in the mail at home just a few weeks ago, and it looked like a tax form, but it didn't have a form number on it, but it looked just like an IRS tax form. And it's like, put in your information, your name, address, social security number. They were just confirming something about your employment. That is fraud. That is not going to come to you. The scams about, give us, pay us using a gift card. Not going to do that. People are not going to do that. If somebody needs you, they will get a hold of you. They will personally talk to you. They're not going to email you. They're not going to have somebody email you. The IRS will not be emailing you. They will likely not send you things. They will send certified mail, but so just get a confirmation. I see so many scams Mark, and we see clients who fall for it, businesses, business owners, people who work for businesses, and individuals, and it is so heartbreaking to them. And we're in a no-judge zone. We don't judge somebody for clicking on something or doing something, naively. But if you're not sure, don't click. Assume it's going to be not a good thing. So it's just getting more and more prevalent, and it's more and more dangerous. So if you're in question, if you have a question, just give us a call. We'd love the opportunity to see if we can help you navigate through some of those things.
Technology is moving so fast, and it can get you real easily. So, again, that number, 352-251-1015. And a reminder this weekend, the 360-degree retirement roadmap from Jackie Campbell and the team at Campbell Company. If you've saved at least $500,000 or more for your financial future, it's no cost, no obligation to you. We have a representative standing by right now. 352-251-1015. We're always available at mycampbellandco.com. Well, Jackie, as always, thank you for the information and the education this weekend. Quick reminder to check out the Beyond the Money podcast. You can stream it from the homepage at mycampbellandco.com. We're back next weekend, but before we get out of here, Jackie Campbell, let's give you the final word.
If you're looking for clarity, confidence, and direction, we would love the opportunity to sit with you and see how we can help you guide through the next big birthday or next milestone in your financial life. We would love to see you be on our heroes of your own financial story. 352-251-1015 or online at mycampbellandco.com. This is Jackie Campbell, certified financial planner and certified public accountant of Campbell Company Wealth Advisors and CPAs. Join us again next time on Beyond the Money Radio and the Beyond the Money podcast.